Hey, it's Lucas, and my top surgery consultation was 3 days ago. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. This is private, this is not NHS, but I don't see why there would be a difference between the two. It's the same operation by the same people, so I don't think it'd be different. So I decided to go with Mr. Brendan Wooler at Spire Hospital in Hull, and I first emailed them on, hang on a minute, I've got it written down, the 20th of July. So I filled out the inquiry thing on the website and I sent that off, and I got a reply the very next day telling me basically a guideline price. They can't give me the exact one until you've been into theatre and had all your aftercare and stuff like that. So the guideline price was £8,300, and each surgeon had a different price for initial consultation. Off the top of my head, there was Neeshaw, obviously, Wooler, Grover, and I feel like there was another one, but I can't remember. So I actually rang up and made the appointment on the 2nd of August. Didn't make it straight away because I was waiting to see if there was any possibility that I could go the NHS route, but it didn't happen. So obviously I went private, and that's why I'm talking to you here. So I rang them up and I basically said, can I book in for a consultation? And she said, yeah, next week. And I didn't take that one. Because I wanted somebody to come with me, but they wouldn't have been able to because they were working. So I said to her, what is the next one after that? And she offered me the following week, the 16th at 10 to 7 p.m. I thought this was weird because it's really late. Got a frog in my throat, sorry. I thought it was weird because it's really late, but it makes sense if you think about it. He's probably doing NHS shit during the day and then doing private stuff in his own time. So yeah, she made that appointment and I didn't have to pay at the time. I still haven't paid. In fact, I'm waiting for them to email me a payment link. I don't know when that's going to happen, but yeah, I made the appointment for 2 weeks in advance, which was very quick. I was expecting to wait like a month, maybe 6 weeks or something like that, but yeah, it was really, really quick. So fast forward 2 weeks, I was supposed to get a letter, but I didn't get a letter, so I didn't know exactly what I needed to take with me. I ended up just taking my letter from Sheffield GIC that said basically my gender dysphoria diagnosis. That's all I took with me. So my sister drove me, and when we got there, we went to the wrong hospital to begin with, but the woman behind the desk was like, don't worry about it, it happens all the time, it's literally down the road, take a left. I don't know why I'm pointing right, but yeah, she said down the road. I'm pretty sure we took a right, I don't know, anyway, it was down the road, left or right, one of these ways. And she was like, I'll give him a ring and I'll tell him that you come in, it happens all the time, don't worry about it, which was very, very nice. I mean, as soon as we walked in, like, you could tell it was a private hospital. It was very, like, I don't know if people watching this would probably be from the UK, so yeah, you know, you walk into your hospital, your NHS one, and it's just like grimy and it's full of crackheads and it's just shit. I don't know if that's just me or where I live, but I don't think it is. I think it's a general consensus. This place was very bright, very clean, looked very nice. We got offered a free drink when we walked in, which, like, not just me, not the person who was paying for it. Like, I took 3 people, well, no, I didn't take 3 people with me, I took 2 people with me, and they all got free drinks as well, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I was waiting for what felt to me like a long time. It was definitely, I think I got there bang on my appointment time at 10 to 7, but I didn't get seen until like 20 past 7, which I wasn't bothered about. The only thing that was worrying me is I was nervous as fuck, so, you know, waiting past your appointment time when you're already nervous is not a nice feeling. But I'm not complaining about that, it wasn't a big deal. So we came into the waiting room and he called my name and I walked in and sat down, and he's basically like, so how can I help you today? And I immediately said, I know what I need. I know I'm going to need double incision, so, you know, pretty much just how soon can you do it? And he was like, yeah, sounds like you know what you want. And I was just like, yep. We did like some questions, like general health and like mental health and stuff about my transition, how long I'd been on hormones, whether I was socially transitioned, you know, all that sort of thing. And after that, he was like, all right, I'm going to show you some results. I had to think about it for a second because my brain really wants to talk about the examination, but I'm skipping things. So after we'd done the questions and he was making notes on his little piece of paper and stuff, he was like, yeah, so you want to go behind the curtain, take your top half off and we'll have a look at you. So this was the most uncomfortable part, and I'm guessing this is the part that everybody wants to know. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of try and get through this. I went behind the curtain and he was like, right, take your top half off, I'm gonna go and get a nurse. Obviously he can't do it on his own, he's got to have a witness. The same with every single doctor ever needs to have a witness there when they're examining you. So I went in and I took my t-shirt off and I took my binder off, and I was just kind of stood there top half naked, and it was very uncomfortable. And then the nurse came behind the screen and she was talking to me, and then he came behind the curtain and he was talking to me, and like it was quite comforting. Like the experience was very uncomfortable, obviously, because as a trans man you don't want anybody to look at your chest pre-op. Even the thought of it gives me the ick. Anyway, but they're used to it. They see it every single day. I mean, that's what he does. He's a surgeon, not just for trans people, but for like women as well. So yeah, he sees it every single day. It's not an issue for him. They're really good at making you feel comfortable. He told me to lay down on the little bed with basically put my arms behind my head, so I'm top half naked on the bed looking straight up at the ceiling. The nurse tapped me on the leg and she looked at my tattoo and she was like, God, that's a good bit of ink, that. How long did that take? And I was like, it took 6 hours, and we were just talking for a minute whilst he got himself ready. I'm laid here, my hands on top of my head, and then he starts like feeling and squeezing and like examining, basically like, oh, this is so gross, moulding them around in his hands like Play-Doh, and really giving him a good like that sounds really weird, like he's not fondling, he's like pressing and stuff to see what's going on in there, and he's talking the whole time, but I can't honestly remember any of the stuff that he was saying. I tried my hardest, but it just didn't go in. So after he'd done that, he was like, right, arms down, did something else, and then he said, stand up. So I stood up, and he got I'm actually not wearing my chain right now, that's usually always have it on, it's kind of thrown me, but he grabbed, well, he didn't, the nurse got my chain, and then she was like, I'm just gonna swizzle this behind so it's not in the way and stuff. He said basically to me, and this is going to be different for everybody, he was like, right, so you've already got a well-developed like muscular male stature, like you've got muscular shoulders and quite a muscular chest. I can see basically the outline of where your pecs are, so if I do this, and he was showing me, this was when I was stood up, so he was talking and he was like pointing to bits, and I wasn't looking down. There was a mirror at the side of me that was like a body mirror, so I was looking in that as he was like poking and prodding around and stuff. But he was explaining to me how, because of the way that my chest is, if he did certain things to the scars, it would accentuate the muscle, and basically just how that he would make it look good. And I know that's going to be different for everybody, and I really wish that I could remember all the things that he said to me, but I can't. Obviously I have an update at my next appointment, but I'm going to get to that point now. So at this point this is a funny part, and I'm a fucking child, but like I was trying really hard not to giggle. I put my binder and my t-shirt back on, and I went, oh no, actually I skipped a step again. Before I put my top half back on, he said to me, he was like, I'm going to take some pictures. This like wall at the back of me was a photo wall, and they won't be my face or anything like that, it's just going to be here. Like he showed me the results of the other guys, and there was no face, like you couldn't tell who it was. So he was like, is it alright if these stay, or do you want them to leave? I had my sister and Jay there, and I was like, prefer it if they left, to be honest. So he was like, alright, can you step outside for a second? And then he took the pictures of my chest, and I put my top half back on. So now I'm sat back in my seat, and he's doing a little doodle and he's making notes and stuff, and I look on the piece of paper and he's drawn a pair of tits, assumedly mine, which makes me feel uncomfortable, but it was very funny. And I nudged Jay, and I was like, and he looked at me and he was like, "You're a child." But I found, obviously, like, he's going to do that because he needs to see what he's doing and stuff, but the fact that he drew some tits was funny to me. But yeah, then came the punch in the gut, basically, which is why I didn't make this video yesterday like I said I was going to. I was moping, basically. He said to me, he didn't word it like this, and I can't remember the exact wording that he used, but it was very weird and I didn't understand it until Jay said it. But he was like, "Right, so do you have a surgery referral?" And in my mind I was like, "Yeah, I've got that. I've like got my list of surgeons from Sheffield at my last appointment." But that's not what he meant. Like, you need a referral from a professional to say yes, you can have surgery, basically. So on the NHS pathway, you have obviously your assessment, and then you get hormones, and then you have your appointment where you get given a list of surgeons in your sort of area to pick from, and then you pick that surgeon, you come back to your next appointment, and that's when they send off the referral to get judged, basically. And then I guess it comes back, and then they can send off your referral. So that's like an extra 2 appointments that I needed that I didn't have, which I thought going private would like bypass this, but it doesn't. So if you're thinking about going private and you don't have a surgery referral from a licensed professional, then you can't, is the harsh reality of it. Like, you might think that you can bypass gateways by going private, but you really can't. You need everything. I mean, unless you go to some dodgy surgeon, then you might not need it. But if you're gonna go to one of the good ones, they do everything absolutely by the book professionally, because there's been so much backlash lately that they can't afford not to. So you need that referral, whether privately or not, and I didn't have it at that appointment, so I pretty much nearly cried then and there on the spot, but I couldn't because I had an hour journey home in the car. But I was not a happy bunny that day or the day after that. So yeah, I immediately got into action and was able to get an appointment squeezed in with Dr. Lorimer from Gender Care on the 30th of August, so 2 weeks away. So I explained my entire situation in the email back and forth with his secretary, and he was like, "Yeah, so basically what you're telling me is you just need this referral, so I think I can squeeze you in on the 30th. That's an extra £300 on top of the guideline, 8,300 for the surgery, and then £150 for the consultation." So where does that put us now? 6, 7, £8,750 potentially. So yeah, if whoever said being trans is easy is just a fucking straight up liar. And you know, so before I get too pissy and in my feelings again, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope it was helpful. I do have that appointment on the 30th, so fingers crossed, all being well, I can get that referral. I can send it off to Mr. Wooler. And I completely forgot to mention the entire point of this video. Mr. Wooler's waitlist is only 2.5 months private. I don't know what it is, NHS. I've heard all sorts of rumours. I walked in there thinking that it was going to be 10 months to a year in the future, and then he was like, "Right, so basically we were moving through operations quite quickly, and then COVID hit, and obviously that slowed things down quite a lot, but we're really trying to pick back up again, and you're looking at about probably a 2 to 2.5 month wait." And like, I was wearing a mask, we were all wearing masks and stuff, but I swear to God, if I wasn't wearing a mask, you would have seen my jaw drop open, because I keep hitting my mic, I'm sorry. You would have seen my jaw drop open, because like I said, I was expecting 10, 12, 14 month wait, which is, you know, the general sort of gist for niche, or at this time, not private, NHS. So yeah, his waiting list is only 2.5 months if you're in the UK, around the whole area, or even not, so long as you've got your diagnosis and your surgery referral, then you're good to go basically as well. You need money as well, but yeah, you're basically good to go. So I hope this was helpful. Like the video if you like this sort of stuff. I don't really know what you would comment, but yeah, peace.